calypso. This the one stroke, two stroke. You feeling sweet like the calypso.
My girl, she like Julie Mango. My girl, she like strawberry. My girl, she like orange. My girl, she like tangerine. Tangerine. My girl, she like tangerine. And you sweet, sweet like. I say she like calypso. She like calypso. Oh. I say she like calypso. She like tangerine.
You're sweet like pineapple, you're sweet like tangerine. And I have the sweetest piece of wine here for you. The way that you're giving the vibes, I just want you next to me. And I hear watching you all night, I love off your energy. All night your waist moving, I see you know what you're doing. All night your body talking, you think speaking my language. You have me like, oh Lord, oh. I'm feeling like I just won the lotto. Down the line, oh Lord, oh. You are the captain, sail away.
Oh my goodness, Dr. Nate. Okay.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going. We laughing. It was kind of rough there for a second trying to get everything because we got a lot of new things on that code is using. Mm-hmm. And it kind of like threw us for a little loop there, but my boy here figured it out. Okay, so welcome to the show. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No, thanks.
You guys were playing some good music right there.
Oh, so you.
Am I gonna hate on you guys one bit?
So no, I appreciate that, and I'm trying to get my. Well, I'm gonna edit the post when I'm done talking to you, but. I was trying to do my research on you.
Uh-huh.
And the couple things I was able to find out is you're a bison, right?
Yes.
And watch me doing this like if
I did my residency. Howard University. Yeah.
So you are a bison, just like Senator, Vice President elect Kamala Harris.
Yep. Yes, ma'am. It's actually a good time to be associated with Howard right now. You know, mm-hmm. it's beautiful to see.
Mm-hmm. So you know what? I want to be able to put that in I'm trying to multitask at the same time. So this is what I'm going to do. We're going to play some music, come right back to you. Don't go anywhere because I want to edit the post on Facebook. So that way I have a friend who is a bison also. 2 of them. Oh, 5 of them.
I have a couple of bisons.
You got a couple of bisons too.
Quite a few.
So give us a couple of minutes. We're going to play some music. Then we will come back in. I hope you're not going into surgery today. No surgery today, right?
No, I'm not. I made sure I wasn't on call today.
So we got you for the next. All right, nice. So let me play some music code and let me just edit this.
I start feeling sick, fetching is like my medicine. So now I need a hit, so please don't tell me that party done. I gon' need another one. I can't deal with it because I'm homesick. No way, no time, no place better than where I live. No way, no time, you better believe it. This fat is me home. And when I'm not festing, I'm homesick. Home, this place is me home. And when I'm not festing, I'm homesick. Home.
All right, so I'm back. I come back. So what I'm gonna be doing, Dr. Nate, is because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share the stream with you later on, so you can share with your friends. But if you're on Facebook right now, you can actually find the stream. So tell me how I can share it with you. Maybe I should just share it via WhatsApp, so that way you can bounce it, right?
if you could share it through WhatsApp, that would be great, and then I can share it on my my social media.
Code is gonna do it right now. So while we're talking, he's gonna share it with you. You should see it pop up in a couple minutes. So formally, welcome to the People's Chat Room. This show has been around for about almost 6 going on 7 years, but we just started doing Zoom way before, right? Way before the shutdown, way before COVID-19, we started doing Zoom. So you are what I call Black excellence.
I appreciate that. I like the sound of that.
You are, but no. I ain't mama guy in you, like we say in the Caribbean, which means flattery. You know, in Trinidad and Tobago we call it mama guy. I'm not mama guy in you. You are Black excellence because you are a Black male doctor, ophthalmologist. I hope I said it right. I think is ophthalmologist.
You did pretty good. Yeah,
I did pretty good, right? So, how many? I mean, let's go all in. How many Black doctors? And I'm going all in there because it feels so good to say it. Practice ophthalmology. I had to take my time there. How many do we have? It's not a field that has a lot of that we are well represented in, right?
Yeah, no, it's actually interesting that you mentioned that because I just had a conversation about this with some students. Essentially, the last numbers that were looked at, there are about 17,000 ophthalmologists in the country, and of those 17,000, 300 are Black. In my experience, actually, if you were to actually look at the number of Black males, it's even less than that. And then, obviously, because, you're counting male and females. And then for my subspecialty, which is oculoplastics, it's even far less than that. So it's definitely, I definitely have patients who, are in their 60s, 70s, who tell me that in their whole lifetime, they've never seen or had a Black ophthalmologist.
So all very interesting, and you said something there that I'm going to tap into, because we've read over the years that some people don't like to be seen by a Black doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Do you get that kind of pushback sometimes when they see, okay, hey, he really is Black? I mean, do you get that pushback sometimes from some of your patients or not?
Yeah, so it's actually interesting you asked that. So I think in most of my experience, the vast majority of the hospitals I work in, even the patients I operate in now, most of them are not Black. Most of them are, they're either Caucasian or something else. And then, a couple of my patients here and there, depending on what geographic region I'm in, I have the majority of my patients are non-Black patients. Now, when I was at Howard and I was doing some of my training there, we were in the city. We were in the Shaw Howard area, and then we treated everyone. Whether African Americans, we treated people from the Caribbean, people from Latin America, from the Middle East, Ethiopia. So DC was a very diverse experience. But in the real world, when you go out there and you're practicing and you're in these different cities, you're probably the first Black ophthalmologist that a lot of people have seen. And for the most part, I think one thing that I've seen, if anything, is I get questioned maybe sometimes more about my age. A lot of people will say, how old are you? I was there before you were born, and you're going to do my surgery. But I think in those situations, people sort of trust that, probably to get to where you got to, you had to have worked pretty hard. And I think in my experience, I have had patients say really off color and some weird things to me. But they still, I still did the surgery or the procedure. My suspicion is that if somebody truly felt that way, they probably wouldn't even be in my exam room, if anything, right? They would probably eventually kind of move to something else. But or someone else. But yeah, one thing I would say is, I can give you an example. I had a patient who basically they came up to me and they came to the clinic. They were my patient. I went in the room and we were talking about having another surgery. I was at a particular hospital where we had a group of us that did surgery, and so you can meet any one of us on your surgery day. And so I was seeing them in clinic and talking to them about their surgery. And as we were talking about the surgery, he asked me a question. He said, the marker that you use to mark people's faces for surgery, does that marker show up on Black people? And I was close to a marker and I grabbed the marker and I put it on my skin. And, I had my hand like this and I just literally swiped my skin. He said, oh, no. You're a different type of Black. I'm talking about that blue Black. And this is a white guy telling me this, right? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, like this guy is pushing it. And then it always, sometimes with those types of patients, it goes into the conversation of, all these other people, but I know you're different because, you know what it means to work hard and not depend on the system. So there's a categorization that people do, and I don't like it. That's happened throughout time with Black people and amongst Black people and with others labeling each other. And that's something what you'll sometimes run into is this kind of thing of, oh, you understand what it means to work and to have money and this and that. And so therefore we're going to tell you, about our thoughts on race. And I've actually used in some locations, I don't want to mention any places, Florida. I'm just kidding. I don't want to throw that Florida under the bus. I love Florida. Florida's a great place. But occasionally there were some patients where I worked that had some interesting comments to say. And for the most part, I would say the most part, my patients, whether they were white, Black, they had a MAGA hat or Make America Great Again, they were super grateful with the surgery that we did for them and the stuff that I was able to do with them. But once in a while, you get somebody who was willing to talk and say more. And I actually, believe it or not, I use those experiences with patients to help me understand where people are coming from, right? Even if I don't agree, and even if I think it's kind of crazy, I actually, took sometimes some extra time if I had time in my schedule to say, hey, like, why do you feel like this? Or, where do you come from thinking like this? Or, and that's the cool thing about being a doctor is people will literally tell you everything. Like, I know I'm an eye doctor and you're supposed to come see me for your eyes, but some people will come around and start talking about their divorce. They'll talk about the drama they had. They'll talk about how they're about to get evicted. They'll talk about how they just bought a new home, they just got back on the trip. And so as a doctor, I literally have this kind of access into people's lives. So when somebody comes with some kind of racial prejudice, I shut it down. I correct it. Sometimes it's not geared towards me. It's geared towards, that woman doctor, patients might say, or that Indian doctor, or that, it was that one Chinese doctor. And then I'll say, no, hold up. That doctor, and they're great, they're a colleague, they're a great physician, great person. Who cares if they have the accent? They're an amazing surgeon. And you have to sort of redirect people. Like I'm at the place in my life where if somebody feels like they don't want to see me because I'm a Black doctor in 2020, and regardless of how much experience I've had, how talented, my training, even the training I'm going through now with oculoplastic surgery, how talented it would make me with experience and all that in the future. There's still some people who are going to be racist. They're going to be bigoted. They're going to be ignorant. And if that's how you feel, I don't want to be your doctor.
Keep it moving.
You know what I mean? I don't want to. I mean, I'll take care of you. That's the thing. We have an oath to take care of everybody and treat everyone. But if someone has a decision to come to the clinic and they're saying, I don't want to see a Black doctor, well, I mean, then I'm not the doctor for them. And there's plenty of people who want to see me to the point where I don't worry about those types of people.
You got to just keep it moving. But I got a question. Why ophthalmology? I'm still struggling with the word. I feel like if I should say
you can call it
eye doctor.
Opto.
Opto.
That's how you know. That's how you know you've made it. When you're walking around, you're like, "Hey, I'm Opto." When they call me on the
So
phone,
why
yeah.
Opto? Why? Because we all have. I think we have thoughts in our minds as to why we pursue certain things. Some people pursue certain degrees because there's no math involved, so it's easier, so they go after that. I'm just being real. And some people go after. So why ophthalmology?
Yeah, so for me, ophthalmology was I initially, when I was at the end of medical school, I was interested in doing interventional radiology. So that's basically radiology procedures where you use live imaging and you do procedures and you do different types of catheters and through blood vessels, and you get access to different parts of the body. And I loved radiology. I still love radiology. I mean, I love to look at scans. I love look at imaging. Ophthalmology is a great field because it's very image based. So it's kind of like, what you see, when you see someone, and I could just see somebody in the waiting room, and a lot of times I already have the diagnosis just by looking at them. And so, for me, and I always tell my friends who are single, you could tell if somebody's interested in you by look at their eyes dilating. They're either interested or they're scared. That's the eyes can tell you a lot about a lot of things. So that's a whole different discussion. So
well, the cool thing about this show is you get to come back as many times as you want. Yeah, because I really want to know. I would like you to elaborate on that, but not today. When you come back, we can talk about that because I want to know.
Yep, you can tell a lot by the eyes. And for me, I really like the fact that my main thing was I wanted to do a specialty where I could travel around the world and do surgery where people had results relatively pretty quick. If somebody's blind and you operate on them and they can see their family, they can see a face, they can see light, they can see everything. It's like a let there be light experience. You know what I mean? And it's an amazing thing to go through that as a doctor and just take that patch off and someone says, "Hey, look, I can see." And so I had a passion. And, my family is originally from the Congo DRC. I speak French. I try to keep up even though my French has a strong American accent now. I try to keep up with it because I have when all this COVID stuff and everything is done and we can travel the world again. One of my hopes is to travel and to do eye surgery. And eye surgery is one of the fields.
Hold up. You said something about, okay, I'm not going to paraphrase what you said, but it seems to me like if you don't mind joining Doctors Beyond Borders or whatever they call them. What is it? Doctors Beyond Borders or Doctors Without Borders? Because you want to be able to give people the gift of seeing again. So is that something that later on in life you would want to do? Join that team?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many. So for eyes, we have so many vision groups. We have groups that travel by plane, and they have like surgical ORs on the plane. There are organizations like that. There's different vision mission trips, and so there's literally dozens of different organizations that go out and they'll just crank out surgery, literally crank out surgery all day. And so for me, I would love to join one of these organizations and these groups. And for me, because I also do some oculoplastic surgery, it'll be a good mix of doing some cataract surgery, which I still do a little bit of, and being able to do some reconstructive stuff.
So let me ask you this question. I mean, I'm sorry, I keep jumping in and he always tells me I shouldn't do that. But as soon as the thought pops into my head, I'm like, I jump in.
It's your show. It's your show. You can do it.
And you're coming back anyway, so we could talk about a whole lot of other stuff. Now, the difference between a cataract and glaucoma, the way I see it, is a cataract you can operate on. Glaucoma, you can only extend the eyesight with drops and stuff like that. Am I wrong or right? And if I am wrong, or if something has changed, has helping people with glaucoma, has that gotten better where you can actually now operate on the eye to kind of like extend the eyesight?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Glaucoma is a devastating disease, and glaucoma it's devastating because with cataract, as your cataract gets worse, you'll start to have the symptoms, right? So the worse it is, the more symptoms you have. Glaucoma is tricky because by the time you notice what's going on with your glaucoma, it's too late, right? It's sometimes it's gone too far, or there's been enough damage. Glaucoma essentially, it's damage to the nerve of the eye, the optic nerve of the eye, and there's different types of glaucoma, but the most common glaucoma, especially one that affects African Americans and Caribbean, Africans, people from the diaspora, is primary open angle glaucoma. It runs in families. Blacks are much more likely to have it than whites, and to suffer from some of the complications. And the problem with glaucoma is it requires early detection, and it requires an eye exam that somebody could just go and you get an eye exam and someone can detect it and see if you have glaucoma. So if you have a family history of glaucoma, you need to make sure and go get checked, because by the time glaucoma really does affect your vision, that means there's already been some damage to the nerve, the cable that connects the eye to the brain, right? And people start to lose vision. And so glaucoma, the good thing is if it's detected early on, you can give people drops and they can maintain on eye drops. Sometimes if I detect a glaucoma that's very early on, I might even do an initial laser, and that laser is called SLT. And I might do a laser to see if I can buy them some time without the drops, right? But if the laser doesn't work, or if they don't want the laser, I can just start with the drop. And then as time goes on, I can keep adding drops as needed. I can keep monitoring the patient with different types of imaging modalities and tests. Now, when it gets to the point where, despite all the medications, despite being on multiple drops, despite being on all the different types of treatments that are available for glaucoma, if a patient still is progressing, at that point, that's when a glaucoma specialist will go in and do surgery that can help reduce the pressure in the eye and help kind of decrease the progression of that glaucoma. And so it is true, we don't have to do surgery right away, but if it progresses despite medical treatment, which is everything but surgery, then we do have to go into the realm of operating and doing surgery. And at that point, that's when I refer my patients to glaucoma specialists. And I actually do that pretty early on, even before they get to that point. If I start seeing that they're getting more complicated and they're starting to need more than just a drop here and there, that's when I kind of give that patient to the appropriate eye specialist.
Okay. So you are such a wealth of information, and that's one of the many reasons why I'd like you to come back to the show. In addition to the fact that I'm going to repeat myself, you are Black excellence. You don't understand, Dr. Nate, how much it fills my heart. And I don't want to sound too poetic, but I'm going there. When I see young Black people that are professionals, it's cold. It's just, especially in professions where it previously was dominated by white people. So I'm just loving this. I got another question. As you know, with people of color, African Americans, Caribbean people, many of us suffer from high blood pressure. I'm one of them. How much does that impact your eyesight, and is that dependent on diet or how quality of life? How much of an impact is it on your eyesight?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm passionate about, obviously, before I specialized in eyes, I did do some, a lot of my training, and I even did a year where, I was living in Hawaii and I was just doing general medicine, ICU, ER. I was taking care of just general patients. And one of the things I can't help to tell you is how many patients I deal with that have, changes in their vision because of the health, their general health. And that's one of the most beautiful things about being an eye surgeon, is that you can look at somebody's eyes and you can tell a lot about what's going on with their body. I mean, I've diagnosed everything from lupus to Sjogren's to sarcoid to HIV to syphilis to you name it, to so many, to atherosclerosis, and someone about to have, on the edge of having a heart attack just because of looking at some of the changes in the eyes. The eyes don't lie. I tell my patients that the eyes don't lie. You can tell a lot by just looking at somebody and looking at their eyes. And so for me, when it comes to high blood pressure, I fortunately, whenever I'm at the doctor, and I go see my own doctor, I always look at my blood pressure, because I'm not the young buck I used to be, and I move a little different. So now I'm always checking my pressure and making sure, because as especially as a person of color, high blood pressure it's a big thing, and high blood pressure is one of those things. If you don't control it, as you get into your 50s, 60s, and you get into that range, people have had strokes because of their blood pressure not being controlled. And those strokes, I've seen people die. I remember my intern year, one of my last couple weeks, the last person I pronounced dead was somebody who had a what we call a hemorrhagic stroke from high blood pressure. And I remember the nurse calling me and saying, his pupils are blown, he's not responsive, and just remembering, thinking that this is tragedy. It's a tragedy. Somebody that has just high blood pressure that was out of control, and just like that, they burst some vessels in the brain that led to a stroke. In the eyes have blood vessels, and any changes in the vasculature or any changes in blood vessels in the body will also especially affect the eyes. The blood vessels in the eyes are small, and the eyes themselves, they need perfusion. They need blood, right? It's an organ, and when you have high blood pressure, there are changes that happen to the blood vessels. And sometimes the changes can create problems. If they're severe or they're advanced, they can create changes in vision. And that's why we always want people with high blood pressure, or even especially diabetes, we want especially those two groups to get an eye exam every single year, because we want to make sure that they're not having any complications. Again, if I see high blood pressure in the eyes, I'm also thinking about the heart and the brain and the kidney. I'm thinking about the entire body as a physician. And that's sort of in some ways what separates me from, an optometrist, who is great at taking care of the eyes and a great eye care specialist. And we work with optometrists all the time. We depend on them for so many things. But one of the things that makes us unique as ophthalmologists is that we're MDs first, we're physicians first, right? And so I have to think about the entire body when I look at the eyes. So that's the difference?
Man, I'm learning.
What was that?
I'm listening to you and I'm learning, because I'm thinking that an ophthalmologist. So what's the difference? Because you're an ophthalmologist, you're an MD first. Because when I Google you, yes, you have Dr. Nathan Kanyinda, MD. So with the MD, you're a medical doctor, but okay, now I'm going to try and find out the different. I'm all over the place, because I'm sorry, Dr. Nate. I'm sorry. Can you just and I'm listening to you, and a couple thoughts are going through my head. We got to get ready for the next guest. I don't want to end the conversation because this is so interesting. I have so many questions going through my head. So when you're coming back, man?
I mean, when you guys want me back, I mean, I could come back. We can coordinate. I like to stack up. I had some other interviews today, so I mean, I like you guys. Next time, I like you guys. So next time I'm going to get my
Black Excellence.
I might have a bottle of champagne. I might have a and then we can.
Okay, I have one more question, but I feel like I could have asked that question minutes ago, but let's see. Right now, coronavirus is slamming us.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And with regards to you practicing and the virus and having to pronounce people deceased, has any of that happened within the past 6 months with you? Have you have you had to see people that have COVID-19? Was it to an extent where they were placed on a ventilator? And I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking because, like I said, I have all these questions going through my head. So
yeah, I mean, COVID-19, it's hit home for me because I've also had a family member that was affected by COVID-19. And a lot of people don't realize that COVID is not done with us yet, right? Well, I'm over COVID. Everyone I know is over COVID. We just want to go back to our regular lives. But COVID-19 is not done with us. And in fact, unfortunately, there are studies coming out that are showing that even people who have been asymptomatic or have not had a severe or significant infection, even those people, they're finding effects on their bodies later on. They did a study where they looked at, they did echoes and they looked at the heartbeat, and they saw that there were some small defects already showing up in even patients that were asymptomatic. They're talking about that even in the lung, people who had a significant amount of lung involvement, there's starting to be some scarring in the lung. And so will we look back 20, 30 years and say, wow, like we're having these new things happening, or we have this wave of patients coming in with XYZ, what do they all have in common? They all had COVID. At some point, right? And so COVID-19,
are you being safe? Are you practicing safety me? Are you practicing safety with your patients? Because I need for you to be safe also. Yeah, no, and I appreciate that. And shout out to my colleagues who are in emergency medicine, ICU, those who are even more frontline. I have to sometimes in my surgeries, I do, when I'm doing like the oculoplastic surgeries, I'm drilling, I'm in the nose, I'm in the sinuses, I'm in the face. I'm not even just wearing an N95. I'm wearing a big mask. It looks like a gas mask, like a P100 mask. And I'm wearing a big mask to protect myself. We canceled a couple of patients yesterday because of COVID positivity. In the clinic, we're having everybody wear masks. When I'm out going in the ER and I'm getting consults about traumas, and if I'm covering call and I'm in the hospital and I'm going to the ICU to everywhere, I'm wearing my N95. I mean, COVID isn't a joke, and it's affecting all of our lives. It's affecting the hospital. Some hospitals in the country are starting to get full again. And so we have to take it seriously as long as it's here. We have some good news with the vaccine that is apparently out, I think Pfizer, but we have to keep our precautions. And even if you're going to be asymptomatic, you don't want to get COVID. We still don't know what this is yet. We still don't know what it does. We still don't understand it. So that's the big thing for me, is that we have to be very vigilant. And I think about it every day. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I'm worried about it because I am around so many patients every day and so many people. I have to contact you to bring you back on the show. Is January good for you?
January, yeah, definitely works great for me.
All right, so we'll talk because there's so much to share, so many questions, and I keep throwing questions at you, and I apologize, but like I said, as soon as it pops into my head, it's out my mouth. Dr. Lane Rollins is a friend of the show, and he is a COVID-19 specialist, I should say, because he's a virologist as well as a microbiologist. Are you familiar with what he has been doing, Lane Rollins? Dr. Lane Rollins, I should say.
Yeah, some of the work, yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's been on our show a couple times, but I gotta make room for the next guest. Do I really want to go? No. I need to bring on the next guest, which is Warrior King, and I want to talk to him too because I always have so many cool people. Well, you got to come back.
Definitely. I will be back, and I appreciate you guys for having me.
I appreciate you for saying yes. Dr. Nate, please be safe, okay? And and I'm speaking for all the Bisons out there. I am not one. I'm a UCF Knight person. But congratulations on being an alum of Howard University. And tell your mom and dad I say hi.
Always.
Okay? They're probably so proud of you.
Yeah, I mean, they think I'm all right.
They think you're all right. You have a blessed weekend, okay? And
all right, you guys too. You guys take care.
You too. Bye-bye, Dr. Nate.
Trouble double double. double, swing double. Shoodle-wop, shoodle-wop, whoa, shoodle-wop.
So I need to say thank you to Carl. Carl, thanks for sending us the password, baby. You know, because I don't know what Tasha does do the password. I need to start writing it down now. Yes, I'm putting you on blast. I am sure putting you on blast. So right now you're looking at the Facebook page, and what we have is we letting you see that we are asking you to advertise with us. We'll be rolling out some things in the new year from January in conjunction with Makeda, I'm putting you on blast, Brown Sugar Babe. You know, so we're inviting you to come along and advertise. So the way how Code has it set up, if you're looking at the Facebook page, I like that. Yeah. President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. And let me just throw in this and then we'll bring on Warrior King. I gotta let y'all know, I've been following Joe Biden for years. Before he was even invited to be the vice president along with Obama, I've been following Joe Biden. So now I'm telling you guys, this is his time. This is his time. And for all you, no, I'm not going to go negative today. For all you people that didn't have the confidence to vote for him, 78 million and counting had that confidence. So we will see you guys January 20th when we roll in our new president, Joe Biden. So let's get ready for Warrior King. He's got some new music.
He should be in the group just now. Waiting for him to turn on the try to
we're waiting for him to turn on the
connecting to the audio right now in a minute. Connecting to, so like we said, we are live. We are what did it? Rebroadcasted. What's the term you use? Restreamed, rebroadcasted. Island Beat.
Oh yeah. So on Sundays, this recorded version of the show will be played on islandbeatradio.net.
Yep.
Right now, you're hearing us live on iTunesRadio.com, and we do have a YouTube channel that I'm encouraging you guys to please subscribe to. So you know, while Warrior King is going to, maybe we need to send him a text.
They're in the group. They're just connecting to the audio, making sure everything is working on their side.
All right. So your girl gonna be performing live every Thursday. I'm not gonna let y'all know exactly where just yet, not until some other things are put in place. We're gonna be doing a weekly gig in Orlando, Florida, every Thursday. It's gonna be called Caribbean Night, and of course it'll be Lima and Company. I will have 5 guys behind me, so I'm going back into performing live. And your boy right here. Okay. I like that. Who you didn't get that from? That's so cool. He's my DJ partner here gonna be joining us also. So as we get more information that I feel more comfortable putting out, we'll put it out there.
Definitely.
And we're encouraging you to come down to this place every Thursday once you're in Orlando or want to visit Orlando. Yes, it's gonna be on International Drive in the middle of the tourist district, but you know, it's all good. So we could leave them people in Universal Studios and just migrate to International Drive. Okay? Yeah, we got it like that. So again, we're waiting for Warrior King to come on live. And I need to say thank you to Dr. Nathan Kanyenda. He is awesome, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
You know,
yes,
you had a lot of questions too, didn't you?
I know one of the questions is what is RP, but I didn't get it. But,
when he comes back, we're going to have more questions for him.
We're going to have more questions for him. We're
going to have more questions for him. So,
yes.
Oh, Warrior King. We chat.
Good morning, afternoon.
Afternoon, everything good?
Everything good. We just want to make sure that your audio, okay. We need a little bit more.
Yeah, man, everything is good. I'm hearing you clearly.
Yeah.
The light. You can you ask Leslie to just put, we want to make sure we see your full features and everything because it still look a little bit in the dark.
Yeah.
You know, and we want to make sure we see it while we chat. Gotta tell you, I love that drop that you sent us.
Yes, we do.
Thank you so much.
So this is what we're going to do. We welcome back to the show, Warrior King. Thanks for returning. And remember, we casa is su casa. So you can return anytime you have new music. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the new song. And then we're going to chat on the next side. All right?
No problem, man. No problem. No problem.
It's a Jimmy Smith sound production. And we got to be that light and do what's right for our children and our children's children. Rastafari.
Love, we all need love. Love, one perfect love. The world needs love. Love, love, one perfect love. What's the solution to all this confusion? The world needs love, one perfect love.
It's a Jimmy Smith sound production. And we got to be that light and do what's right for our children and our children's children. Rastafari.
Love, we all need love. Love, one perfect love. The world needs love. Love, love, one perfect love. What's the solution to all this confusion? The world needs love, one perfect love. Too much destruction, war is not the solution. The world needs love, one perfect love. Hey, what's the solution to the problems of today? The blueprint laid by His Majesty. Communication, cooperation every day. Got to be upful in every way. Hey, the burning bridges and building walls. Babylon wall we love to fall. Too much innocent end up a mud.
Too much malice upon.
What's the solution to all this confusion? The world needs love, one perfect love.
Warrior King, the world needs love, one perfect love. I love that jam. I mean, I love all your music, but we focus in on the new one, which is this one. I love it. And I feel like if you're speaking also about some of the disruptions that took place here with the looting and the protesting and George Floyd saying that I can't breathe and all of that, but I want you to tell us, fill in the gaps.
This song, is a solution for all the ills that's going on in the world. America, Africa, in the Caribbean, Europe, all over where people is. Because if you check what's going on over the world, the COVID thing, plus everything that's going on in Nigeria, you have war in Ethiopia right now, you have hurricane licking someplace terrible now. So it's a solution, Perfect love is a solution for all the problems we're facing as human beings today,
Mm-hmm. Some people are saying that this is just a matter of time, that this is Bible prophecy being unfolding in front of our very eyes. What say you, Warrior King?
Yeah, I agree with them,
Yeah, I agree with them.
I agree with them because, fulfillment of prophecy, I see what's going on, because even the COVID-19, it's man-made thing, it's a man-made thing, so it, men with evil thoughts, people with evil thoughts, creating all these things, so we have to get rid of them type of people there, would purify their thoughts and their minds,
So how has, One Perfect Love launched, I think, was it 2 weeks ago or a month ago?
I think
a month ago.
Yeah.
How is it doing so far? How has it been received by the people?
Extremely well. It's doing extremely well, because the message is clean and the message is relevant,
Sure is.
So it's doing good. And in Africa and Europe, because the song is produced by Jimmy Smith Sound and they're based in Italy. They're out of Italy, so the producers are Italian producers. So it's doing good in Europe. It's doing good in Africa. It's doing good here in Jamaica. It's just start bubbling up, So it's doing good. And we give thanks to the love that we've been receiving for this for this track.
Have you performed in Florida before? Or I know you've been where?
I performed in Florida before.
It's been a
several
while.
times, but it's been a while.
Okay.
It's been a good while. I've been to Florida performing. I think I did something. I did something for Culture Shock. You know Culture Shock?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Culture Shock. Yeah,
I did something for Culture Shock some time ago. That was the last time I was in Florida.
Because
performing.
because it would be nice for you to come back stateside when the borders are opened. But I think when this whole COVID-19 thing has, decreased to a point where people aren't as nervous.
I see they're coming with the vaccine. But I know that's going to be a big issue. Cause I don't think any Rastafari and Brethren are going to take that vaccine.
I'm one of them, man. I ain't taking that vaccine. Let them line up and take that. Cause I'm sorry, somebody got to be the guinea pig, but it ain't gonna be me. Okay.
No, it be me neither. And I'm family, And a lot of people eating out against it. So I don't know how they're gonna do that. It's gonna be difficult. It's not gonna come easy. It's gonna come with that tough.
So I'm gonna ask Code to see if he could pull up one of the songs that we featured the last time you were on, and then I'm gonna give him time to find one and pick one. You already have one? Dang, he's way ahead of me. So just play it now.
Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that has been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use I as an instrument to set the people free. Jah give all the powers to chant. Jah give all the powers to chant. Jah give all the powers to chant. With Rastafari works, yo, me nah get it banned. Jah give all the powers to chant. Jah give all the powers to chant. Jah give all the powers to chant. Me come to give the people what they need and not what they want. Jah words are spiritual food. Sweet for the soul, it gives a positive mood. Uplifting the people with the right attitude. Oh, Jah give all the powers to lead the multitude. Lead them right. You know me not gonna sway them. I'll be upright. I'll never betray them. Take them to Zion. For hell me not gonna leave them. Your righteousness will come to teach them the children.
I gotta say this.
Give all the powers to chant. God give all the powers to chant. God give all the powers to chant. We come to give the people what they need and what they want. Yes, a beautiful song.
Blessings. When I listen to your music, straight up, it takes me back to growing up as a child, and I'm in Princeton Senior Comprehensive, and every car we got, anytime we had to get into a taxi or a maxi to head home, it had to be playing some really good reggae music. And when I listen to your music, it just takes me back, my brother. I'm enjoying it.
All praises to the Most High. Thank you so much, my sister. Give thanks,
You're welcome. I know we need to be focused on the new song, but I'm going to give Code...
Message a message, man. Whether new or old, the message is always relevant.
So, Code, you pull up whatever you want.
Dude, I want to. All right. For the queens.
Okay.
For the queens.
Shuba shuba, shuba shuba day, shuba shuba, shuba 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 day, shuba shuba, shuba shuba day, yeah. Now, no real man can live without a woman. Like night to day, says a woman to her man. She's essential to his purpose and his mission. A good woman is a glory to her man. She'll never take the power, she'll just make him a better man. Every great man has a virtuous woman. Woman, you say you love me, you never leave me lonely, yeah. You always be there for me, so need not to worry, yeah. Woman, to keep my strong, which is part of your plan. I'll leave my mom and dad, find a woman and be one. With a woman I make my bond, perfect combination. I am a black man, so I love me black woman. Woman, I give me this sweet, sweet love. Oh, any time of day, yeah, lots of.
Warrior King. This right here, this is he just keep me grounded. And he keeps telling me we gotta look at the time. So before we let you go, we're gonna play the new song one more time, One Perfect Love, so everybody can hear it.
What you like about the new song? I know you like all my songs. What you like about the new track?
Say again, I'm sorry.
What you like about this new song?
The new
I
track?
know you like all my songs. Yeah, what you like about this new song?
What I like about the new song, what I like about the new song is the relevancy. It really is relevant to everything that is happening right now. That's what I love about it. The message is pertinent to everything that is happening.
Yeah, because the reason why I wrote this song too, because everywhere I look and everywhere I turn, people talking about the problem. This is going on here. That is going on there. Everybody talking about the problem. COVID-19, the thing going on in America. You know, the civil oppression and everything. Things going on in Nigeria, but nobody talking about what's the solution. You know, so I just the simple solution. You know,
love.
It's perfect love. Yeah,
perfect love. Which takes us back to the drawing board of the foundation. The foundation, love, hope. I'm going back to Corinthians. Love, hope, faith. Love, hope, faith. Yeah. And the greatest of these is love.
Oh, yes. So that's where I go back, right to the foundation. You know? And if you listen the first verse of the song, I say ask the question, what's the solution to the problems of today? And I replied and answered immediately. I said, the blueprint laid by His Majesty, you know. So I think people follow the teachings of His Majesty, it will point them to a sense of peace, you know, a sense of hope, you know, and relevance to how to solve the problems of the world today.
And the thing is, Warrior King, people need to learn to find a way to let go. We hold on to, and I'm guilty of it sometimes, we hold on to whatever pissed us off. We hold on to the anger and the resentment. And then you find that when you actually give in to love and peace, you find that the anxiety, the depression, everything just start coming down.
You're in a peace.
You're in a peace.
When you have that love, you learn to forgive too, you know what I mean?
True that, you learn to forgive. And forgiveness is so important. You ain't going to forget, but forgiveness gives you that inner peace. So,
yeah, man.
It's a powerful song.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. You know? And big thanks to the support. And sorry about the last time the internet was giving so much problem. Now we're good. So thanks, you know. Give thanks.
You're welcome. So you know you're coming back whenever you feel like, right?
Yeah, man. I want to be in the studio next time. Hopefully, you know. I want in studio. Trust me, I want to be in studio. I want to feel the vibes inside of the studio, you know. Trust me.
Don't start singing, you know. Don't start singing, you know. Because
let me cheer there. Let me cheer right there. For King. Fitting for King. Thank you so much, my brother. Let's fitting for King. Give thanks, man.
Give
Rastafari.
Thanks. And I gotta say thanks to your queen. Please give her my love.
Indeed.
Okay?
Yes, bless.
Give her my love.
Definitely.
So
yeah, man, I will.
We're gonna stay in touch because we casa is su casa anytime you feel like.
Yes.
Okay?
Bless you. What's the solution to all this confusion?
Yeah.
The world needs love, one perfect love. Too much destruction. War is not the solution. We all need love, one perfect love. Bless the
Lord.
Warrior
Listen.
King.
Thank you, Warrior King. See you soon, all right?
Bless the Lord. Bless the Lord.
And we got to be that light and do what's right for our children and our children's children. Rastafari.
Love, we all need love, love, one perfect love. The world needs love, 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 one perfect love. What's the solution to all this confusion? The world needs love, one perfect love. Too much destruction, war is not the solution. The world needs love, one perfect love. Hey, what's the solution to the problems of today? The blueprint laid by His Majesty. Communication, cooperation every day. Got to be upful in every way. Hey, they're burning bridges and building walls. Babylon wall we love to fall. Too much innocent end up a mud.
So much mothers are born.
What's the solution to all this confusion? world is love. One perfect.
Yeah, man. Worrell King, bless up. You take care, right?
I love the vibes. I love the
You love
vibes. Love yourself, my brother. Rastafari love. Bless you, love
Respect.
everyone.
Respect. Bless.
Give thanks. Rastafari love every time. Give thanks and blessing. One perfect love to everyone.
Thank
Bless you,
you.
love. Bless you, love.
Bless
You're
up.
welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Ooh.
GARTH Sinclair!
God's still on mute. God's still on mute, you know.
You're still on mute. Take your mute off.
God's still on mute.
On mute.
Yeah.
I just did. You hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now. So I need to say some hellos to let me see. Tricky Finger, well gone. Good morning, family. Julian G.I. LePlot, good afternoon. Michael iTunes Arjun, morning. Well, actually it's afternoon because after, oh my goodness. Darren Doc Thomas, hey. So let's see. Wendy Modest, Alistair, we had a fellow bison on, so I sure hope you tuned in because Dr. Nathan Kanyinda was outstanding and he will be back. And now, let's see, we had Dr. Nate, then we had Warrior King. It's a packed show today and waiting to chat, according to Warrior King, is Mr. GARTH Sinclair of Eye on Dependency. Good morning, my fellow Trini.
Hey, how you doing?
I did.
How you guys doing over there?
We're doing all right. Joe Biden is the president-elect, so we do.
Yeah, Lima not hiding her feelings at all.
Watch God, look how he grinning from it. I feel you. So God, where's Natasha? Where's
Natasha's right here, adjusting the lighting for me right now.
Okay, Natasha, no, we don't want to see a hand. We want to see a face for a second or two. Come on, camera, and say hi, please. Come on. Come on.
Camera ready, yeah.
Hi. So, Gata, see how when you're red, black, and white?
I'm representing. I mean, come on. I must represent.
We got a Trini flag on the wall now, and all. See?
Yeah, I see that too.
All right, so let's jump all in. So the last time you were on the show was under the last administration, if you think back.
Yes.
So it's been a while. All right,
It's been a while.
and then so it's a little over 5 years now. We come back to PNM. We go in into a second term for PNM.
Wow, that long I spoke to you since?
Yeah,
Wow.
straight up. It's been a while.
I'm really fly boy.
It's been a while. So tell me the changes tell me the changes and tell me the things that are still the same.
Over.
With regards to Eye on Dependency.
With regards to independence.
Mm-hmm. What is still the same and what has changed within this new...
we're still on air. We're still on I-95.5
Nice.
FM every Sunday from 6:15 p.m. And now you can catch us now live on our Independency's Facebook page. So because we're doing a lot of live stuff, we kind of adjusted the new normal. And we wanted to, so for instance, now when we speaking about drugs, we don't just speak about it, but we show you what it looks like. So that's a big difference for us now, where we can actually demonstrate and make parents aware, especially if you see some of these devices at home and some of these things at home, you will be able to identify what it is and what it can do to your child and even your home, So that's one of the things that we improved on our product and the way we dispense with education and information. And we've hooked up. We have a long-standing and continuing relationship with the counter-trafficking unit of Trinidad and Tobago, because as you know now, human trafficking is a big deal here, and it has grown a lot. So that's the awareness now that we continue to share in partnership with the counter-trafficking unit of Trinidad and Tobago. They under the Ministry of National Security. So we were very fortunate that the counter trafficking unit decided, hey, look, we are a good product that they need to partner with because they've been using our film still.
Okay.
And yeah, you know that film Traffic.
Uh-huh.
It's still going.
I'm not gonna tell you because I know you're gonna abuse me. I already put myself out there. I'm yet to look at it. Don't cuss me. Don't cuss me.
Are you serious?
As a heart attack.
But that's all right. That's it's all good because it's like, you know, we had a Calypsonian. He's deceased now. He used to say music don't spoil.
Uh-huh.
Well, film don't spoil.
Film
you know,
don't
and
spoil.
this one has a very long life. It's a film that keeps on giving because even though it's been around since 2013, was launched in 2014, and since then, apart from it, and we didn't speak since then, we haven't spoken since then. That film helped elevated Trinidad and Tobago to tier 2 on the trafficking persons watch list.
Okay, so hold up. Explain to us the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and so on. Explain to us the status. So if you're on tier 2, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing.
Okay.
If you're on tier 3, you're in some trouble, you know, because which means then your country and your government is not doing enough.
Okay, all right.
To deal with this issue of human trafficking.
So
okay,
I doing you like how I do everybody, including Dr. Nate when he was on early on. From the time the questions pop in my head, there is no patience filter between here and here. It just comes out. Sorry. I want to know, with the influx of new residents from Venezuela, how has that impacted the whole drug and even the human trafficking scene in Trinidad and Tobago? Has it gotten more intense, worse? Have you all figured out, or have they all figured out a way to police the whole thing? Yeah, I want to know, please.
Well, the smuggling has increased.
Oh shit.
That's for sure, because there's a difference, right, between smuggling and trafficking. So the smugglers would bring them over, and they get paid to do that, right? Sometimes our own fishermen would go to Venezuela, pick up a load, bring them over, they get paid, that's it. But then they hand them over to people who have other uses for them. So now they would start working in nightclubs and in brothels. And then sometimes when the trafficking occurs is when the unit moves in and they see, the exploitation. The women are forced into the sex trade, and then they pass them around from one organization to the next or one crew to the next so that they could continue selling themselves. These are the people who they get their passports taken away from them, and they put in nightclubs to work, and then they have to, they sell themselves. And so if they make $100 for the night, then 20 is theirs and the rest goes to the guy who trafficked them. And so there's a lot of sex trafficking going on. And since that increase, the counter trafficking unit has increased its drive and raids and all of these things. There were a number of establishments that were raided and shut down because of the counter trafficking unit. So because of that intensity, they were able to arrest 1 or 2 people. And now we have to wait on a conviction. The arrest says that, okay, you guys have been, because apart from the arrest, the unit have been going around and I've been accompanying them to do a lot of lectures and stuff with the film and to, teach people about trafficking. So like customs and police and the Caribbean Airlines and all of these different, and hotels and all of that. They go to these institutions and educate them on what to look out for, and then once you make an arrest, then this is policed by the U.S. State Department. So every year a country has to produce a report on, well, what are you doing? And once you make a couple arrests, then they realize, okay, you've been doing a lot of work, so we elevate you to tier 2. And then once you get a conviction and you start getting convictions,
Then you
then
move up to
you
one.
go to tier 1. Yeah.
So it seems to me that these women and men too that coming in from Venezuela, we're looking at endangered exploitation and endangerment. So they're endangered people.
Yes.
So it seems to me too that ion dependency is now a staple in Trinidad and Tobago, because I didn't think all they're going anyway, because now all they're providing a serious service, especially with the advent or with the movie traffic. Right?
Yes. Well, next year, please God, we'll be hitting 20 years on air. And yeah, we've been doing a lot of work, and thank God, I mean, where did that time go, right? But yeah, we approaching 20 years. And we just didn't want to be, as I tell people, we're not a newspaper talk show. You know, talk show is easy to run, right?
No, it isn't.
Well, for some, because
No, it
you
isn't.
know, you get up in the morning, and the guys in the morning show, they would lead the way, right? They would start a topic, and then if the mid-morning decide, okay, we're going to carry on the same topic, they just come sit, put on the microphone, and talk the same thing.
Okay, so let we clarify here. If you're doing a gossip talk show, that's easy to run, because all you're doing is washing your mouth on people. But when you're doing a serious talk show, you know, where you're trying to bring information and you know, then we're talking, you know, but 20 years doing what you're doing is like, go ahead.
That's why I described it as newspaper talk show, because newspaper talk shows are, you come, you bring your newspaper, you put it on the table. What is the headlines today? Oh, man caught raping goat. All right, and we talk about raping goat for the next 2 hours. But if we want to talk about, if we want to deal in trafficking, we have to do research. You know, with substance abuse, we have to do our research. We have to get guests and line them up. And so it's a big difference. And so we just didn't want to be that come sit, open the newspaper and talk what's going on. That anybody could do that. What we're doing is extensive research and bringing that information to the people, so that once we leave the air, you will be properly well educated. You know what I mean?
So I got a question with regards to education and stuff, because I remember years ago when I used to work with the Department of Children and Families, part of our training, it was just for, they were only allowed to do it for, I think was roughly a couple hours. They brought in what various drugs looked like in the raw form, whether it was crack, cocaine, whatever, so that when you see it, you can recognize it. Is that something that you guys do when you inform or educate the parents that if they see something at the house and they don't really know what it is, now after some education with you guys, they can actually identify what that substance is?
Of course, that's why I said no. Normally we would just broadcast to a radio audience, but during the start of the lockdown, the first lockdown here in March, and we had more of an audience at home, then we decided, you know what, let's take it a step further. So now, when we speak about drugs on the brain, we will put a picture of the drug, and a copy of the picture of the brain, and tell you how it affects the brain. And so yes, so you're right. So once we talking about any type of drug, we show it now on our Facebook page. So if a parent want to know for instance, what a Zosh bottle looks like. So if you go into your child's bag and you see a Zosh bottle, you know, you will what is this? Yeah. And they can tell you anything.
What is a Zosh bottle?
A Zosh bottle is, you know, those miniature brandy bottles or miniature rum bottles?
Yes.
Right. So that's what it's called. In our local language, it's called a Zosh bottle.
Okay.
So what they do is they bore a hole at the bottom of the bottle, and they put a mesh at the top of the mouth of the bottle, and then so the crack would go inside of that, and then they would light that and pull on it from the bottom of the bottle.
I gotcha.
So the because the brandy bottle is contoured in a certain way, you know, that it's a what you call concave. Do I have that right?
I think I have it right. I think so. I can never
Right.
tell the difference anymore as I get older because I don't use that word that often. But yeah.
Yeah, right. But it can fit around the mouth very nicely. So that way, that's why that one was fashionable. And then there's the crack pipe, which looks like, you know, something cylindrical, but about this length.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so we would show that actually on Facebook while we on. So parents who are at home on their phone, they can actually log on to our Facebook page and they would see the device and the little chips of foil paper. There are a number of things that, you know, the marijuana seed that you can see and all of that. And so we try our best now to actually, you know, have radio that you can watch.
So, question with regards to the young people, well, school children, like whether it's comprehensive school, whatever, that age group, that 10 or that 13 to 17, 18 age group. You guys are now in the schools, right? Or you all have been in the schools educating, right? And that's one question.
Yeah.
The second question is this. How have you seen the youth thus far with regards to the drugs? Is there an increase, a decrease? We still on the same level, or has it, in other words, has it gotten worse or better?
What I can tell you is that now we still not a country that loves to collect data and share it with the public. Right? That's the problem. So to give you an exact figure, I can't do that. However, I can only go by the people who contact us. And within a week, I can tell you we would get about at least 2 or 3 phone calls of a mother asking for help for a daughter or son. And that's the harsh reality. Now, over the last 3 years, there have been this increase in psychedelic and party drugs. So a lot of youngsters, and then, you know, we don't card people here. We don't ask people to show ID cards here, right? There are clubs that you can go in, and there are people in the clubs, you know, selling ecstasy pills. And I can tell you, our universities, what we found out is that our universities are filled with drugs. Right in UE here and UTT, there are people, some of the students came on our program and confessed that there are students who rely on different types of substances so that they can function while they're going to school. So pills are a favorite now, you know. So if let's say you're stopped by the cops and they decide to do a search in your car or on your person and they find a pack of pills, before police was hip, before they were hip to what was going on with these psychedelic party drugs, a lot of children were walking around with them. You know, it's safer to walk with than a joint, you know. So I can tell you a lot of them now got hooked on these class A drugs. These just similar to crack will have the same behavior as someone using crack.
I'm listening to you.
So it's a lot.
I'm listening to you, and without me going into detail, because I can't share that information, you know that this is very, very personal to me. All right?
Yes.
So I'm asking you this, because as a clinician here, and based on not just what I do, but predominantly where I work, I have seen that certain drugs, because everybody has a different chemical makeup, and sometimes certain drugs don't interact well with your chemical makeup. And I found that people don't recognize, young people and adults don't recognize that taking certain drugs can trigger psychosis. And some of that psychosis you will not come back from. In other words, you're going to be crazy for life. And then there's some drugs, I mean, again, it depends on your chemical makeup, you can come back from it. So part of your education, do you guys also share with the parents that drugs do trigger psychosis?
Of course, because there are times when some parents would ask us, during our conversation with them, I would ask, do you have mental ill health running in your family, whether it's on the mother side or father side? And I would say 6 out of 10 times, maybe 7 out of 10 times, they would say yes. And then I would let them know, look, sometimes it passes on from one generation to the next, whether it's on the mother side or the father side. So the discussion you should be having with your children now is one, if you really, it's out there, we know you may be tempted at some point, but then understand that you have mental ill health running in your family. And if you take any type of drug, even a simple joint of marijuana, can trigger psychosis. And you could you may bounce back from it or you may not. And that's the kind of conversation that we're having with parents now. Even if I'm even trying to get them to have these conversations during recruiting for different arms of the protective service. Because, when they're recruiting in the military or the police, they want bodies. They really don't go into the fact that, hey, and I keep telling them, if you recruit a batch of 200, at least 50 of them are predisposed.
True.
Either father or mother was alcoholic, mother drank while she was pregnant, or the mental ill health running in the family. And these are questions you need to ask these recruits now when you're interviewing them. That must be added to the list.
It should be added. You're right. It should be added to the list. Some of them ain't going to tell the truth, but at least if it comes to pass that they were lying, at least they can't say that you didn't ask them. So they had the opportunity to tell the truth. But you're right. It should be added to the list. I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, and you see, but they don't do that because again, they have a quota, and if you recruit 200 and then you ask that question and 50 answer yes, then what do? You take the chance and you recruit them because they function normal. They can function normal. Some of them really fit. But from the time the pressure turns on, when the career starts, then you will find that and you can spot them really easy because once they start, even during recruit training, some of them would start sneaking in alcohol. Some of them would start, sneaking out and going and take a smoke and come back, right? And then once the career starts in functions, you can actually notice them because let's say you're lineman with 4 people. One person would finish that drink faster than everybody else and then go get a next fill. While you on the same drink, your friend just leave and go and get, and you all went by the bar at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And then he or she would come back and then would drink again. And then when you're going to get a second drink, they're going with you to get a third one, And that's a clear sign right there that your comrade has a problem. And then, at the end, you always have to drag them out or lift them out, or accompany them outside and rub their back while they're throwing up. And that's a clear sign that, hey, my batch has a problem, this soldier has a problem. And these are the ways that you spot it too,
So, is there any, like for instance, I've indicated to you that that's my background as far as I'm not a specialist in substance abuse or anything like that. But as far as how they do assessments here, if you ever need a sample of an assessment or something like that to hand to them so that they could use it as a foundation for going forward, ask. I'm right there with you. I will help as best as I can because I know that the United States is no longer in a position or not credible enough to give information on any damn thing because, hey, we lost out on that when we had Trump for 4 years. However, I had to go there, right? But
I know you had to go there.
But I'm saying that if you ever need information like that to help with to create a document like that, I'll see. I'll give you that.
Well, what we would like to do is seeing that even travel will be affected for a while.
Yes.
Because what we normally do, we would thank God we built a relationship with folks in Brooklyn, the drug treatment court, when they just started their drug treatment facility out there. And we sat with a judge and interviewed them, and we came back here and we played those interviews. Coming out of that, now we have drug treatment courts here. Whether we making full use of it, that's another story. But coming out of that, so those kind of partnerships we look forward to. So if right now I'm thinking, that we were supposed to go. We had to put off a trip to Canada to visit a correctional facility out there to take pictures, videos of their facility because we need correctional facilities here. We still have jails and prisons, you know.
Okay.
So we want to do. So I'm thinking now to help with the partnership or foster more our relationship with entities outside. That would be a step ahead of us, you know, a few years ahead of us. We do some Zoom with them while we're on the air so that they can continue to educate us and at least something will ring a bell here.
One of the, I'm not going to call the facility, but I think you know that I work as a counselor at a high-level psych hospital here in the state of Florida. And 3 days for the week, we have court. Well, I wouldn't say court, but we present their treatment plan because they're mentally, some of them, it's a psych hospital, so some of them do have some mental health problems. Some of them are actually running away from whatever problem they got in general population. But so for 3 days, that's what we do. We present their treatment plan. We offer therapy, if you could call it that. And we help them to try to navigate. So there's inpatient and then there's outpatient. I work in the inpatient aspect of that. So, I mean, I could try and see how we could line up certain things. No cameras are allowed because we can't even take our phones inside there. But let's see how, you know, they could partner with you guys. And that would be the Florida Department of Corrections. So that's a huge monster right there.
Oh,
but let me see.
That's good.
But let me see what information I can get so that way there could be some kind of dissemination of information. Okay.
You know what we're looking at? You know what we're looking for too?
What?
There has been in the past year, there's been a rise and constant arrests of adults sexually assaulting young girls. There's been a rise in that. It's like 2 or 3 a month. You would see the police posting, you know, either a report or a picture of someone who was found sleeping or having sex with a 15-year-old, a 14-year-old, 11-year-old.
Shit.
And for years now, I've been saying, and, you know, I continue to tell Natasha, like, we're living way ahead of our time because 5 years ago, I was saying that I need to sit with someone who I can get inside their head and find out, well, what goes through your mind to know that you see a 5-year-old baby on a bed and you would, you know, take off their pampers and molest them. Or your 15-year-old niece or 15-year-old neighbor. You know, we would like to get perpetrators of these crimes at some point to sit with and get inside so that they could explain, you know, why they do this. So if that happening in somebody's home or somebody, I guess, exists in a home, they would be forewarned, you know.
So I think what the police service in Trinidad and Tobago needs to start doing in conjunction with you guys, do they have psychiatrists, psychologists that work as a partnership? Because, like, for instance, when we have our 3 days a week, like I said, when we do our dockets, it's a multidisciplinary staffing team. So you have psychiatrists, medical, nursing, security, which is the correctional officers. You have the counselors. We are all in there. Not all of us, but some of us, depending on if that's your patient coming in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So 3 days a week, we have that MDST, you know, because we work as one. So maybe that's something that they could start partnering with and start, you know, applying that to what they're doing, which would help you to understand and get into these people's heads because, and I got to tell you, the diagnosis for many of them is antisocial personality disorder. That means they are narcissistic and some of them have schizophrenia, but with the antisocial personality disorders, they do not have that capacity. It's like it's always somebody else's fault. So if they're raping an 11-year-old, it's the 11-year-old's fault. It's not their fault. They never accept responsibility. They never accept the blame. I'm telling you straight up. I'm thinking of one right now. I can't go into anything because it's confidentiality. But I mean, these are the primary diagnoses that we look at on a daily basis. F60.2, antisocial personality disorder. schizophrenia, schizoaffective, which is a mixture of schizophrenia and depression. So they're hallucinating, and they have a depression thing going on inside there. And then you have schizophrenia unspecified, or schizophrenia where there's the hallucinations and the hearing and the seeing, things that you can't see or hear. So this is a conversation we could have off the air, so we could see how we could get that moving. But y'all need some major help because of the things that y'all dealing with on a daily basis. Straight up.
Yeah. God. It just reminded me of the last news. It was a 65-year-old man
ripping a
with a 15-year-old, and again I'm saying what why, and wife and children I'm talking about, right? But still would take a 15-year-old, like for instance one of the stories that we heard a couple of weeks ago was two guys, a young lady flagged down a car. Right, we have PH taxis here too, right? Or they call them, that kind of oxymoron, the PH taxis. But it's taxi, they run, shuttle people back and forth for a price. So she flagged down this car, and instead of taking her home, the two of them in the car took her to a place and they raped her. And I'm saying, why? Because you don't think she would go and report it? You don't think that, well, you're going to get into trouble doing it? On the way to do it, there's no one, you can't tell your partner, hey, this ain't making sense, or this is wrong, we don't get locked up, this is jail here. You know what I mean? And they still did it. And they got arrested. And that's it. I mean, they're in prison now waiting on a trial, or waiting on a court date. So, and I am very, very, not fascinated, but I'm very curious to speak to people like that, to find out.
It's an interesting conversation that you will get nowhere with half the time, okay? And another factor that you got to look at too is how were they raised? I have looked at most of the people that I had to read their case file, and when you look back on how they grew up, half of them were raised in dysfunctional homes where it's either they were raped or there was drugs. It's a lot of dysfunction. That's why you have to put some effort into how you raise a child, because you may be leashing or unleashing a monster on society. Okay?
Exactly.
Exactly. So but we gonna have to talk because it's after 2:00 and I gotta go, and because I gotta go, that means you gotta go. Sorry, but you gotta come back. You're welcome on this show anytime. One, because me and you go way back. Two, because Trini, but mostly because me and you go way back, and you're doing such good work.
Yeah, I hope the next time we hook up though is that when you out there, I have a track that I want to send to you. It's a Latin track that I did with a Cuban orchestra, and the version, the club version, I'm thinking about doing a video to release it. So that's the track that I did the short video for you, advertising coming on.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
that music you heard in the background, right? That's my track, and I'm thinking of doing a video to release that again. So because I never did a video with it before.
Well, I gotta tell you, Code continues to enhance what we're doing here. So let's wait until you actually have the video. So that way, when we invite you back and we play the song, that people can actually look at the video at the same time.
Right,
okay.
but I need to send it for you. I need to send it for you first privately, so you can listen to it.
Okay.
And you tell me what you think.
I get with that. So before you go, please let our listeners know when the show is on.
Sure. It's every Sunday from 6:15 p.m. on I-95.5 FM. You can just look for on I on Dependency. That's EYE on Dependency. You can see it in the back here, and it's every Sunday from 6:15 p.m. And you can join us on our Facebook page live and interact with us while we're on the air. And we're on from 6:15 p.m. to 8 p.m. So that'll be 5:15 p.m. your time, right?
Right now, because they keep messing with the time here.
until the clock goes back to normal.
I tell you, I hate that when they do that, but I hear, so I gotta live with it. And I would encourage you guys to please tune into Iron Dependency on the times that GARTH shared, because Iron Dependency has been around for over 20 years, right, GARTH?
Yeah,
20
years. 20 years.
And they're doing such great work in Trinidad and Tobago. And, we got to keep lifting up our brothers and sisters that continue to do good work, great work. And GARTH is definitely one of them. So, GARTH and Natasha, let me see your face one last time, please.
Yeah, Natasha is out. She's having lunch.
She's having lunch,
We've been
okay.
working all morning.
What's she eating? What eating? I love food, so I'm sorry. I had to go there.
Yeah, like I just cook up a little thing for her to eat, so
okay. Well,
rice and
enjoy your food,
and
Natasha. And you guys have a great show tomorrow. Do me a favor, when you do the show, can you just share a link on my page? If I forget.
Yes, and we want to, and we're ready to do that at that iTunes thing. So we have to talk
all right.
about
So
that.
I'll let Mike know. Yeah. All right. Okay. You all have a blessed one.
Take care.
Take care. We go talk.
Enough love.
Enough love.
All right.
Thank you, GARTH.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So we had a really packed show for you this morning. Well, morning and afternoon. Again, you're listening to the People's Chat Room if you're on iTunes Radio. And tomorrow, of course, the show will be played in its entirety on islandbeatradio.net. We're here on Facebook Live. We had Dr. Nate Kanyinda, an ophthalmologist. I call him Black Excellence. It is what it is. And we had Warrior King on launching some new music, One Perfect Love. And we rounded it off with Mr. Garth Sinclair of Iron Dependency. My name is Lima Dunbar. This here is DJ Code Red. We want to let you know again that we will be doing some live music in Orlando every week from December. Yeah, it's a new club that's opening up in Orlando, so your girls are heading back on the stage. Now doing my thing, Caribbean Night. We'll give you more information as we go along. In the meantime, in between time, we go on. But wait, before we go, I gotta let you know who's gonna be. Oh God, you know, I always do that, right? Let me see who's gonna be on the. I pulled up the wrong app. We want to let you know who's gonna be on the show next week. Next week Saturday. Okay. And next week Saturday, we're gonna have Chris Garcia. Yes, Chris Garcia and Miss Donna Chapman gonna be on the show, and I'm hoping that we could just have a small interview with Mr. Junior Bisnat, Mokojombi fame in Trinidad and Tobago. Those of you may not know this, Junior. I grew up on the same street with Junior, Henry Street in San Fernando. So we gotta get out of here. Please enjoy your weekend. Give praises to the Most High, like Warrior King would say, because you know what? You were able to get up this morning. You all have a blessed one. Take care.
All of my property, all of my money, oh, it not mean anything if I don't have you. Cause you are my everything, and I'm gonna do anything, but put that on everything, oh, for you. Da, 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 da. Hey, Choppy.
Calling she bluff, she said she don't do this. And she have a friend money giving she 2 cents. You know your body thing, girl, watch ya. So why you making it so hard for? I love when you take it off, yeah. My girl, I the tools, you know. Like a breeze, I cool in your dung. I pray how you bend to the ground. Yeah, you roll your body, you know. Watch that bumper sit on there. Hands up high, you're surrounded. I want to come and show you a little something. You act like you wanna run away. Turn around, yeah, you got it. I love how you bounce it. 10 is marks on the paper. Sit down, my girl. Sit down, my girl. Sit down, my girl. Yeah, sit down, my baby.
Code Red.
Drunk Zen.